Well Rooted is brought to you by Gerard and Associates CPAs. With locations throughout Los Angeles, Gerard and Associates has been guiding entrepreneurs and creatives towards realizing their dreams for over 20 years. Discover how they can support your vision at gerardcpa.com. Hey, it's Haneen, and I'm back with another episode of Well Rooted. In today's episode, I'm joined by Nael, the founder and president of Grass-Fed Music. Nael is the force behind some of the music industry's most exciting talents, including Sabrina Claudio and DJ Habibeats. From artist management to innovative strategies that amplify unique voices, Nael's journey with Grass-Fed Music offers inspiring insights for creatives and entrepreneurs alike. So without further ado, this is Well Rooted with Nael. Hey, it's Haneen, and I'm back with another episode of Well Rooted. Today, I am joined with Nael from Grass-Fed Music. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
This is so great because I feel like oftentimes, or I guess most of the time, us as an audience, our relationship with music is usually just between us and the artist, right? Because
Yeah.
that's who we see, that's the face of the brand,
hmm
basically. And we don't really get to know the people that are working tirelessly to help make those artists successful. So please tell us about Grass-Fed Music and tell us about how you're helping these artists navigate success in their careers.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Again, name's Nael Atweh, originally from Toronto, Canada. Shout out to my Canadians. Palestinian background. My family is from Nazareth. And I couldn't be more happy to be running a company like Grass-Fed. We started this company 15 years ago, and the idea was to help and support my brother Nasri Atweh, who is a very successful, famous songwriter, producer, artist. And I started off by just servicing producers and servicing clients. And I said, "What do you need?" And one producer's like, "I need a guitar player." So I found them a guitar player. Another producer's like, "I need a videographer." I found them a videographer. Or I need a songwriter. And I just became the resource for everyone. And then when those resources and opportunities came to fruition, everyone asked me to be their manager. So it was a very natural progression. I started late. I'm 40 now, but I started at 26, which is technically very late in the music business. And I was just helping people. And then from there, that resulted in me discovering really successful producers and songwriters, helping Nasri and Adam Messenger at the time develop their publishing business, and basically signing writers, producers to their company, having massive success. And then I started to start a boy band. Silly. I thought it was a smart idea, but I did that for about 2 to 3 years, developed pretty successful boy bands with my brother and Adam, got them signed to labels, and then that all fell apart. Lost the boy bands, all that stuff went away, and then I started trying to figure out what to do next. So I went back to what I did from day one, servicing creatives, helping them. And out of nowhere, I got an email from this incredible artist named Sabrina Claudio, and she needed a manager. I met with her the next day and I told her, "I'm your manager till you fire me." And I've been her manager for almost 10 years now. And I've had tremendous success from multiple Grammys to sold out tours around the world. And then I started developing more songwriters, more producers. And now at Grass-Fed, we have 15 clients between songwriters, producers, mixing engineers. And in the last year and a half, we picked up revolutionary cultural superstar DJ Habibeats, who has, really changed the entire music industry, not just for DJs, but for Arabs and Palestinians and Middle Easterns. And we really championed what he was already doing on his own and took it to the next level by finding him the village to make it happen. So Grass-Fed is not just a management company, but we're a culture company that really cares about moving artist initiative forward while maintaining a business, while making sure we're doing transactions every day, while developing things that no one's paying attention to. And then Grass-Fed about 6 years ago started what we call artist services. Basically, it's the same thing as PR,
Mhm.
but we provided a place where artists can hire us to develop them. Instead of hoping you get a manager and praying you get someone who will care about you, you can hire Grass-Fed, and we will provide you that service for a short period of time, 6 months, to really help you shape who you are as an artist. So Grass-Fed is split between management and artist development.
So, who is a client for artist development?
We don't share our clients for artist
No,
development.
I'm saying, sorry, I should have worded that better.
Yes.
Who would be a candidate in terms of like, is it someone who can't necessarily afford to hire you guys as their full-time management? Or is it someone that just needs like that little extra boost to sort of get started? Like, what differentiates those types of clients
Yeah.
versus your full-time, fully
Yeah.
contracted clients? in
Well,
Grassland?
we don't judge. I mean, if an artist has a budget and wants to hire us,
Uh-huh.
and they fit the criteria of like, okay, they don't have a ton of music out already, they're still developing, they're not super active on socials, they're new, then we think we can really help them. If an artist is overly developed, they're already signed to a label, let's say, they already have touring, they already have a fan base, then it's like, I will manage them if I can't go to bed at night not thinking about them. That's it. It has to be one of those like divine moments where everything about them is what I want to be a part of. And I don't care if they make me money because management, you work off commissions, right? If the client makes money, you make money. Artist development is consulting. You pay me a fee and I develop you. And it's a guaranteed service and it's available to you as long as you need it. But management is truly a magical thing. Management is you work for them because you believe in them. You don't care what money they make. You can't think of a scenario where you're not working with them.
Mm.
And so with our biggest client, Sabrina Claudio, who to me is still a client that I go to bed every night thinking about her business, about her future. I cry to her music.
I mean,
I
one of the best songwriters of our generation.
Thank
She's
you.
been featured on Beyonce's album. I mean, she's incredible.
Incredible. I mean, not only has she written Grammy hits for Beyonce, but has championed many artists' careers in the last 2 years, and continue to be this cultural R&B alt pop sensation that has really broken barriers from what you would expect a traditional artist to do to what she's currently doing. So I couldn't be more blessed to not only work with people that I adore and love, but to help artists that I believe in, that I go to their shows and sing every song and know every lyric. So it's the same thing 10 years later, almost 10 years later, meeting DJ Habibeats, AB, that he's the same feeling that I have with Sabrina, where I would sacrifice anything for his business because I believe in the music. I love the fact that he's
Of
Palestinian,
course.
but the music comes first. And that's why I put my life on the line for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone's listening to this or watching this right now and you don't know who we're talking about, you don't know who DJ Habibi Beats is, after you're done listening to this episode, go to YouTube and go to DJ Habibi Beats YouTube. And you guys have full sets out on YouTube that, and I watch them periodically, to be honest. They're amazing. They're like full 2 hour sets. This guy is a genius when it comes to DJing. He's not just mixing songs, it is a cultural experience.
Absolutely.
It is a beautiful cultural experience. It's unlike anyone else, honestly, that I've had the opportunity to go listen to live. I recommend listening to him live, but if you can't make it live, go to his YouTube, stream that music. I mean, I would even say, like, if you have a party at home, I would just play DJ Happy Beats.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so
That's
that's
all
what
you
we
need.
do now. Even when we have our Christmas parties with our family from back home, we just put his sets on because it helps the young kids feel like they're connected and it helps the parents still hearing their favorite Nancy Ajram
Exactly.
songs or their George Wassouf songs. So AB has that incredible ability to really champion something that we've all grown up liking,
Hmm.
but we were kind of told to not share that. I mean, it
Right.
was kind of something we were scared of sharing. It's like someone who is afraid to kind of like, embrace the food that they eat every day because it's overly spicy or smelly, or you don't
Right.
want to bring that to school because kids will make
The
fun of
hummus
you.
sandwiches.
Exactly. Oh God, dry hummus sandwiches
Yeah.
or dry Lebanese sandwiches. But now I think it's our power. Our power is actually embracing the things we're scared of. Not just AB, but all clients. Sabrina, our producers, our writers, our mixing engineers. Everyone is trying to embrace something that they're kind of scared of and
Mm.
intimidated by. And I think why AB is working so well is that people have realized that there is a new space that they didn't know they needed.
Mm.
So same reason why Sabrina's successful is because she carved out a space in people's hearts, or Billie Eilish or any artist, is because people now will take the time to listen to that artist and say, I want to spend my day listening to them, or it's a Friday night, let's put on DJ Habibeats set,
Hmm.
or let's go to his show and experience this in real time. And it's not just for Arab culture, it's for all
All
culture.
cultures,
And he's
absolutely.
actually originally a hip hop DJ who organically, through love of music and listening to other producers and listening to other creatives, developed this new love for incorporating Arabic music, Middle Eastern music, Persian music, that has now really transcended. I mean, he
Hmm.
went and spent almost 40 days in India, and it was playing 2-hour sets, but putting 20 or 30 minutes of Punjabi music in there.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Punjabi in his sets as well. So he seems to be
Yes.
really knowledgeable in that space.
Yes. Well, historically, if you listen to Arabic music and I don't want to say just Punjabi music or Southeast Asian, India music, the instrumentation is somewhat
Hmm.
similar. So there's a lot of weaving that happens between those two cultural kind of music landscapes. So I think he's just done a good job of understanding how to, portray that live, but also keep up the momentum. It's the exact same
Hmm.
thing as Sabrina Claudio. She's really figured out how to champion something that a lot of people didn't know they wanted. They didn't know they needed this like beautiful soul that can make them, feel sensual. When I first met her, I think one of the greatest things that I always tell people when I first met her, I was reading what people were saying on Twitter about her, and people would comment saying, listening to this girl, Sabrina Claudio, sing a cover while cleaning my house. Listening to this girl, Sabrina Claudio, sing a cover while smoking a blunt or while meditating. And I was like, okay, people are carving out a time in their day for her.
Hmm.
And then we would put out Confidently Lost, her first album. I went back to Twitter, is exact same results. Listening to Confidently Lost while cleaning my house, while meditating, while no one was saying going to a club, listening to
Yeah,
Sabrina
it's
Claudio.
the voice.
Yes, the voice, the songwriting, the lyrics,
Hmm.
the concepts. So I think every artist's goal is to try to carve out a space for people to really resonate with you. And then from there, it's your job to make better music, make better content, push the narrative while making sure you're taking care of the people who support you.
Okay. I definitely see that in the artists that you represent 100%, and your passion shines through. Like, it's amazing. And I understand what you mean. And I think we need more of that, where it's like you're led by passion more than anything. And it shows because it seems like this industry is kind of, it's controlled by money in a lot of ways. This is to see someone who's so invigorated by the sheer passion of the industry, by the music, by the artist. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
What do you look for in artists that you want to sign into your like to be part of your
Yeah.
business?
So, first part, I would say what you said about industries controlled by money. I wholeheartedly don't believe that.
Okay.
Because if it was, then the biggest artists in the world would always stay the biggest artists in the world. And the reality is that they don't. And you could be as big as a Katy Perry, but without the right songs, people won't listen. And she could have the biggest songwriters in the world working for her, the biggest producers working for her, and yet maybe it doesn't do as well. So I think if you look at an example of a Billie Eilish who did the opposite of what you expect from the industry, had very little budget and made an album with her brother and has continued to do that and is tremendously successful, it is about ideas. I wouldn't be in this business if I thought money can solve everything.
Right.
I'm in this business because I actually believe songs and art
And
are the
and I
solution.
don't think that you do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get out is I don't think you are one of those
Right.
people, and I think it shows through the artists that you've signed.
Yes.
But I think for a long time it feels like we were kind of pushed certain stereotypes in
Sure.
music for too long because they were more marketable.
Yes.
And they just sort of fit the mold of what already existed.
Hmm.
But I feel like you are someone who's sort of paving a different way in terms of the artists that you are signing.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm kind of wondering, like, what is it that you look for in those artists that you want to sign?
Yeah, so if I'm wanting to manage an artist or like sign it to our like label,
Yeah.
it has to be someone I'm in love with. I just have to think about them. I have
Okay.
to hear their music in my head. I have to be inspired. I grew up as a songwriter. I grew up as a singer, and I
Mm.
grew up around singers. And my father, God rest his soul, was in the choir. And I just know when I see it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to get off the bus and run home to go watch a music video because I didn't want to miss it on Much Music, Canadian version of MTV.
Like TRL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Canadian version was called Much Music. I would run home to watch something called Kids Incorporated. Most people don't know that, but it's like a famous show when we were kids that would pretty much put all these kids on the set together and they would create content and they would perform and it was like Mickey Mouse Club. And I would run home to see these things, so passionate to catch a Backstreet Boys song, the NSYNC song. I tell people a funny joke that I was a very rough kid. I would get into fights and then I'd go home and listen to Backstreet Boys
I
because I
mean,
just
that was
loved the
great
music.
music. Yeah.
And nothing has changed because Max Martin and some of the greatest songwriters who wrote those songs are still some of the greatest songwriters today. So it's not just my opinion that I think music and art is what makes artists successful. It's some of the all the greatest executives' opinions as well. And I think it's easy to believe that it's money and manipulation and pushing a narrative, but I've witnessed how artists that you would have never thought could be a star become a star, like Lady Gaga. I've watched it happen. I've watched through the emphasis of great songs, great content, and accepting that the only way forward is to make something better. And then from there, it works. It's super easy to look at something that works and then say, oh, it worked because you have a label, but you don't look at the story. And it's about great songs. Like Drake is the biggest artist of all time. Who would have thought that Kendrick Lamar could come with a song that can notch him down a little bit? That's not because Kendrick is more powerful, because he's not. It's not because he has more relationships, because he's not. It's not because he has bigger hits, because he doesn't. It's because the song was good. And we have to believe that that's what makes the music business go round. So me, it has to be literally coming from a source of something that's like unexplainable. It truly is that. It's never is it metrics to me. I actually always lose out on the artist who has big numbers or the artist who has a huge following. I'm the guy that DMs them, they don't respond to me, they go to another label. But whenever it's an artist that I can't stop thinking about, that I can't stop creatively imagining, like I did with AB when I met him at a friend's birthday party, shout out to Mikey Camise, that's when I'm in. And I don't care about anything else. And when it comes to artist development on the, consulting side, it's a little bit different. Most of the artists come to us. They're
Right.
reaching out, submitting to our, emails, our ads, and they want to sign up to the program. I don't even have a chance to think if I can't go to sleep at night thinking about them. But it just happens organically. And I'd say every year or 2 years, an artist pops up, a writer pops up, a producer pops up. I'm not just a manager of artists, but I also manage producers. That's my kind of original passion, was managing producers. And that's the same thing, because producers, it's so hard to make money, but I'll work with you if I believe in you. And so it's not just me, Natalie, who runs our A&R, Alyce Hayek, who's the president of the company. Every one of us know that if we're taking on a client, it's because it's all we think about.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. On the flip side of that, if someone is signed to a label, let's say, um, and they probably feel like they're missing out on opportunities, they have this feeling that they're just not, their career is not kind of flowing the way they imagined it flowing. What are some red flags you'd recommend to those artists to sort of take note of, that maybe, hey, I need to find better representation. This is probably not the best fit for me. Are there any things that you, as a manager and as a business owner, can sort of point out that people should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple important things. First and foremost, your lawyer, right? So every artist, producer, songwriter, if you have the chance to have a great lawyer who works off percentage, then that's something that Grassfed would help you find. Second, if you're an artist, a booking agent. Now, not all developing artists are going to have a booking agent, but because Grassfed is a reputable company, it's usually one of the first pillars I focus on. Find you an amazing booking agent at UTA. Shout out to Chris Jordan. Find you an incredible, person to get behind your career. Then a publisher. If you're a really strong songwriter, not just for your artist career, but you're just a great writer in general, is there a publisher we can help you find? A publisher's job is to, help you champion your music, champion your songwriting, get you songs in movies and TV shows. And that publisher can also help you create a new business by writing songs for other people, or writing songs specifically for pitch or for sync. Now, if an artist is really hitting a wall with their label, I'd always say the same thing. I think we need to make better music. I think we need to make better content,
Mhm.
because as much as I would love to force the label into submission, what is going to change
Yeah.
creatively? Nothing. So an artist has to have that thick skin to say, I'm going to go in and make a better song. If you go in and say, oh, I'm going to go make more music, but I'm going to kind of limit it because I don't know if this label cares about me, or the
Mm.
Spotify is not going to support me anyways, or I know this is not going to do anything, or I know you don't think this is a single anyways. Well, then you've already set yourself up for failure. But if you have this thought in your head that I can make it better, I
Mhm.
can make the song better. Did I work with other writers? Did I include other producers? Did I try things out of my comfort zone? That's what moves the needle. The artists who are willing to accept change and are willing to try different things and allow writers to help them and producers to help them will get the best results. Because there's not much a manager can do with, I hate my label, I hate my team, no one's doing anything for me. Okay, what you want me to just fix all that? Then you're going to suddenly start making the records that are going to move the
Right.
needle? So it has to be that. Otherwise, let's not waste our time, because I don't have the ability to make a label suddenly make you successful, nor does any label have that ability. If the music is not good, and if you're not transcending online and caring to put your best foot forward, the results are going to be what they are.
Yeah, and I think to your point earlier, also when you talked about Sabrina Claudio and DJ Habibeats, and then Billie Eilish as well, we see these new emerging. Well, Billie Eilish isn't even really emerging it yet, anymore. Neither is Sabrina Claudio,
Right.
but this new sort of generation of singers and songwriters who have like this really clear authenticity to them. To the
Hmm.
point, like as you said, you make time for these artists. You want to wholeheartedly support these artists no matter what. Everything they put out is consistently good as well. Um, what as you look out into this like landscape, how do you see like the music industry sort of like like pivoting or like I guess being like kind of recreate. I kind of think about like right now what we have going on. I hate to bring this up, but like obviously with Diddy and all of it, it feels like we're kind of shedding a lot of the old ways,
Hmm.
right? Like this like older sort of generation of the way music has been made or the artists that we've sort of praised all these
Hmm.
decades. And it's making way for like these like newer, more authentic, more genuine artists. Is there anyone else that like that maybe you know about that us as an audience don't necessarily have on our radar yet that you think we should be putting more time into discovering or listening to?
Well, kind of like to go into the first thing you said is like, I don't think much has changed in the industry. I
Okay.
think we're still in the business of make great songs, make great content, perform. There's more shows than ever, more festivals than ever, more hits than ever. I'd say some of the greatest music, if you're willing to discover it, exists out there. And there's always bad people, right? Not to speak on Diddy or anything like that. There's good people, there's bad people. That will never change. Some people just get away with it longer,
Mhm.
and it's happening now, it's happening then. I think the difference is that artists now have control of their careers more than they did before. Where in the past it was driven through labels, driven through
Mhm.
radio, and there was a small pipeline that got through that funnel. Where now you could be any artist, be at home, make content, people resonate with it, they fall in love with you. Most managers are discovering artists before anybody else does or before labels do. There are a lot of new, incredible artists that I love. I would say Grassfed focuses more on our own clients than others
Right.
right now. So I'd still say DJ Habibeats is the number one artist to really pay attention to. Sabrina Claudio is going to be coming out with her incredible album. We have some other developing artists at Grassfed. An artist in the UK named Ethan, to me, who's one of the most beautiful singer-songwriters, has written massive hits for K-pop artists and himself. But there are so many artists out there that I love and adore and that I can listen to all day, every day. Would I say everybody knows them? It would be hard to judge. Who's someone that I really, really love right now that I think is really defining music? Um, I mean, he's not old. He's been around for a long time. Bruno Mars,
Mhm.
I still listen to what he does, and it resembles everything that I grew up loving about Michael Jackson or some of the greatest artists of our time. And then what he did with Lady Gaga is really just, stamping that again. That's like great songs, great content will always win. Don't got to be on TikTok. Don't got to post 900 times to get people to see it. I mean, he's a big star, but without a good song, no one would listen to it. Bruno is a great example of that. I mean, today someone sent me an artist, I can't remember his name, but he was like beatboxing while singing. And I was like, oh God, I'm impressed with this person. And this is brand new.
Yeah.
So there's never a day where I don't discover someone that I'm actually blown away by. We are developing someone at Grassfed. I can't mention names, but we think this artist is a superstar and she's like a mix between Doja Cat meets Thundercat. She plays instruments, she plays bass, she dances, and it's like another one of those stories where we're just excited. And there isn't huge numbers, there isn't some crazy labels coming at her, but we just love the music. And with 150,000 releases a day on Spotify happening, there has to be some quality control. And I think us collective of 300 successful managers worldwide are responsible for that.
And you're finding these artists purely on Spotify, on social media, like
Instagram.
Instagram. So if someone is an aspiring singer, songwriter, etc., they should be on Instagram? They should be promoting
Absolutely.
themselves? Okay.
Every artist should be using Reels, using TikTok. I don't care how many times you post, but create content, create captivating content. Tell yourself that you can make better content. Don't limit yourself. I think the most important resources and tools for independent artists now is a producer, unless you produce yourself, and a videographer. That's it. That's all you need. Just like a podcast network. All you need is a mic and a video and a camera. Artists nowadays, all you need is a solid videographer. That solid videographer can make micro content with you on a bi-weekly basis or monthly basis and really just help create a story and make people fall in love with you organically through, video content, photo content. I think a lot of artists get stuck in the idea of doing covers or photo dumps all day, but instead they just need to tell stories, micro music videos. Of course, long form content is very important. The biggest artists are still the ones on YouTube, still the ones doing full sets, still the ones touring. So it's important to not just be on TikTok and Instagram, but to also be putting together vlogs and do full on covers and release acoustic versions. Just do everything you can to move the creative forward. Not worrying about spending money on ads or worrying about what playlist you're getting on or worrying about labels or looking at what your other friends are doing. What can you do? And what can you do to get people to discover you and make better songs, make better content until it works? And that is it. That is the plight of any artist. You have to beat the last thing you made. And better to you, not better to them.
Yeah.
Because being an artist is a selfish act. That's what I say. You don't know who's going to like it until they do. So when you're making music, you're making it for you. You're making it because it resembles what you're going through, what you're feeling, and you want people to resonate with it. They won't resonate with it if you try to force it down their throats.
Yeah.
If anything, you're like, I don't really care if you like it. I'm making this for me.
Right.
And then that's why people fall in love with artists. And you see the greatest artists are stubborn and they don't listen and they're hard-headed because they were making something that was for themselves. And then people resonating with it. So being consistent, being vulnerable, showing yourself up, staying online, working with great producers, working with videographers, accepting that the content's the only way forward, the music's the only way forward. That's what I suggest to any artist.
That's really great advice. I want to circle back really quick one more time to DJ Habibeats. I feel like he's sort of spearheading this movement, obviously with the current situation that's been going on for the past year, especially as Palestinians and, just watching the annihilation of our people.
Right.
It's a lot. We search for these communities. I can't tell you how invigorated I felt leaving his set that he did in LA, 2 back-to-back sold out sets in LA. Whoop, whoop. It was amazing. I'll go back again and again. I can't wait. But it's like we search for those moments of joy, and it wasn't just a moment of joy. It was a moment of community, of unity. It was beautiful. I feel like there's this wave, this Arab wave. I feel like it's been underway for a year or so now. I feel like it's been amplified because of everything going on in the world right now, obviously. But for you, first, to go back to your roots a little bit as a Palestinian and getting to manage, a client like DJ Habibeats, but you're also sort of witnessing, this evolution of Arab music in the American culture. And it's DJ Habibeats, it's Eliana, it's Saint Levant, right? Like we're seeing like these amazing artists emerge. Where do you see this going in the future? Where do you see Palestinian and Arab music and its presence in mainstream music headed into the future?
I mean, I'd say, like I say with everything, it's just about who's willing to compete, right?
Yeah.
There's no difference of, I'm a huge fan of Saint. I love Ileana. My brother actually really helped develop her since day one. Mazzari, Bayou, every one of these artists, Tule, they're all to me revolutionary, but they also have the responsibility to make a hit.
Yeah.
And so that part of me will never change. Where it's going is where the music decides to go. I don't think any of them have had their hit yet, and we're on the way. And I think every artist is on the way. I think Ileana is one of the greatest new artists of our generation. And I think a lot of incredible artists would agree with that, whether you're Arab or not. She's just dope. I mean, you're blind if you don't think that.
Absolutely.
But I've watched her develop since day one. Shout out to her whole team. And she's had an incredible focus on branding, on content. I'd say she has incredible tunnel vision of what she believes in and does not stray from that. And now the hard part is, let's get a song that changes the world. She did a song with Coldplay, a massive song. But what's the next song? That's really how you move the culture forward. It's the same thing that happened in the Latin world. Without hits, Latin world would just be
Mm,
the Latin world.
right.
Hits is what makes them relevant. Hits is what push you to the stratosphere. We're talking about Empire run by Ghazi, shout out, Palestinian. Shabuzi is a black country artist.
Mm,
Look, has a number one hit. Everyone's talking about him. That's all he needed. The record. Doesn't matter what label you're with, doesn't matter what genre you're doing, you just needed a song. And he figured out that right song that moved the needle. Saint Levant, to me, one of the biggest, probably, not just Middle Eastern artists, but one of the biggest artists in the world who are genuinely moving culture. All he needs is a hit. All he needs is a record that moves the needle. Right now, he has songs that make the entire community feel praised and loved and supported, but he needs a hit. DJ Habibeats needs a hit. I'll never stray from that because I come from that world. I've watched my brother Nael Atweh, one of the greatest songwriters in the world, break all barriers, with hits.
mm.
Not only as an artist with Rude, why you gotta be so
Oh, hey,
rude?
that's him.
That's my brother.
Ah,
But with other artists, he's written 18 Justin Bieber songs, multiple Chris Brown songs, and it's all about hits. So, and hits are subjective, but they're not when they work. And so focusing on that and getting there has to be the goal. Do I
mm,
think DJ Habibeats has a hit coming up? Absolutely. Do I believe that Ileana or Bayou or Saint Levant or Lana Lubni or all these incredible artists have potentially hits coming up? I hope so. That's what I want for them.
right.
And that is the step forward. It's not it's not, of course, continuing to do work for our people, continuing to speak up, continuing to share what we're going through is important. We should be doing that whether we're in music or not. We should not be scared to speak on what's right, what's wrong, good is good, bad is bad, period. That is separate. But the idea to move things forward truly relies on the song. And whether this is me saying this or the head of every single record label, not one of them would stray from what I say. They would all say the exact same thing. Not about what label supporting you, not what radio station you get on, not what you think is or isn't happening, a record.
Mhm.
I would say there isn't a song yet. I would say there hasn't been a song that is transcending. Is it Marwan Pablo? I mean, look at him, right? One of the greatest rappers to come out of Egypt, something no one ever
Mm-hmm.
expected before. And he is sticking to what he does, but he still needs a hit.
Yeah.
There's a hit in Egypt, there's a hit maybe in Agami, but a worldwide hit is what we need to move the culture forward. It's the same thing Shakira did. No one was expecting her to be
Yeah.
relevant, but she had a hit. Same thing Rosalia did. It wouldn't have worked without a hit.
Right.
Billie Eilish wouldn't have worked without Bad Guy. Every
Mhm.
artist needs a record. Sabrina Claudio needed Unravel Me, Belong to You, Confidently Lost. Even DJ Habibeats needed Ya Tub Tub remix.
Yes.
We all need a song. So just imagine, multiply that by 10,000 with any one song, what it can do for the culture, what it could do for any artist, and how it can prove that the record is what pushes the culture forward, nothing else.
Absolutely. I want you to have an opportunity to speak about your roots a little bit, and you can go as far back as you're comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm more than happy to. Of course, both of my parents are from Nazareth. I grew up as a Palestinian, proud Palestinian. I grew up in Toronto, Canada. I'm born in Canada. I'm Canadian. I grew up around incredible people my whole life. A lot of Armenians and Lebanese Armenians and Persians. So I was very integrated into culture from day one. I was actually really motivated and supported by all my Armenian friends who are not in the music business to really be proud of being Palestinian. I actually used to say I'm from Nazareth, and they say no, you're Palestinian, and they really helped me find my voice. I wouldn't say I grew up. I wouldn't say I grew up like as Arab as someone else would. I actually grew up around like more or less like Canadians and Armenians, and they didn't speak Arabic. Their parents did because they were from Lebanon. So it was only when I moved to Los Angeles is when I really embraced my Arab culture more. When I married my wife, who's Palestinian, who's also in the music business, also my partner, most incredible decision I ever made for my career. The president of Grassfed, her name is Alyce Hayek. Shout out, I love you so
Amazing,
much.
Elise.
Incredible
Love her.
woman. Was where I was able to embrace more of that Arab culture. She grew up much more intertwined in Arab culture. She speaks fluently. I understand Arabic. I speak Arabic, but she really, showed me the culture, introduced me to the cousins. I have a home back home in Nazareth. We have a store, we have land. I'm fully integrated. I've gone back home so many times. I got married in Nazareth. So,
Mhm.
the love that I have, for Palestinians and for Arabs and Middle Eastern culture has only grown with time. And now, because of AB, I've been able to actually not just fall in love with the culture, but the music. And so
Yeah.
I've had to kind of teach myself so many new Arabic songs and so many things that I didn't know were around. And when I go to these clubs, I see all these people younger than me singing every lyric. I'm like, where are you from? They're like, I'm from SF. I'm like, you're born here? They're like, yeah. I'm like, how do you know all these songs? Like, this is our culture,
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
I really am very fortunate to have the opportunity to actually start in a more R&B hip hop culture and then transition that into kind of a worldwide culture that has a emphasis on Middle Eastern culture, on North African culture, and I'm really proud that we're doing that. We actually just recently took on another client named Agus, who is an Afro house DJ,
Oh,
and I
cool.
love him because it also feels like Middle Eastern culture.
Yeah.
It feels in that world, and I got a chance to witness Francis Mercier, who I say is one of the greatest Afro house DJs, perform. And I remember telling a Goose, I was like, now I get what you do. Now I
Mm.
understand what you do. So, nothing has changed with me. I'm always going to be, 10 toes down for supporting what's right and what's wrong. I'm very proud to be Palestinian. I'm very proud to understand all aspects of the music business, but I'm still focusing on doing the work with the art more than anything else.
Yeah, and that definitely shows, like through all the work and the artists that you represent, it shows that you're definitely back there, helping them navigate through this industry and really, you know, finding success. And that's what we want for you and what we want for your artists. And if we were to do this interview in 5 years, God willing,
Yes.
and I were to ask you, Niall, what are you up to? What would you be telling me?
In 5 years, I'd probably be saying still trying to make hits. Nothing would change. But I would hope that in 5 years from now, I'm helping young managers achieve the exact same goals as me. I want to employ as many people as possible. I want to start a record label. I haven't done that. My big future for Grassfed is to transition in the next 5 to 10 years of being more of a full-fledged label, developing artists, giving them budgets, helping them achieve their goals. Grassfed would also like to build a compound. That's one of a big goal. I've said that in a couple interviews I've done, that we want to build a place for artists, but not just for artists. We want to have a shawarma spot, a coffee spot. We want it to be free for the local community. For anybody who lives in that community can access the studio. Doesn't matter where you're from, as
Mhm.
long as you book time and you're a good person, we'll help you. So I want to continue championing our management company, helping artists to grow. I want to continue obsessing over the idea that hits matter, songs matter, art matters, but I want to also build the business to have a record label side, and to also help champion other managers. I always say I'm 40 now. I can't wait to 50. I can't wait to 60. I
Mhm.
can't wait to 70. And my hope at 70 is I'm the old guy that walks in the office and everyone's like, and when I leave, they make fun of me. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh God, he's so old, but I still own the company and I still am there to champion them. But if anything, I'm just there to give advice about back in my day. And
Mm.
I actually listen to them and I listen to what the young people tell me. And to this day, I really take the initiative of spending the time listening to artists instead of trying to tell them what they need to be doing all the time and
Mm.
hearing what they want to do. And I try my best to be a voice of reason when I feel like they're getting in their own way, but at the same time, they're artistic. How can I really define their careers off of one conversation? Let's see how it pans out. So the future for Grassfed is bright. I pray that every day I continue to help artists grow. I pray that technology grows to the benefit of the artist and that we accept the challenge that art will always have its place if we are competitive. And that's it. That's what I pray for the industry. I don't care about money. I don't care about accolades. I care about pushing culture forward and making sure people realize that the music, the art, the story is why we're all here today. And that is what is going to give you a retirement or give you a long-term career. Everything else is kind of like second to that. It's very easy to make money. It's very easy to like manipulate in business, but at last, probably not. And all the greatest producers, all the greatest artists, all the greatest managers that I still work with to this day, are the ones that have the same mindset as me.
And that's on great leadership. If someone wants to reach out to you, maybe sign to your artist development program, where can they find you? How can they reach you?
Yeah, so you can hit me personally on my Instagram. It's my name, Nael Atweh. You can email me. It's Nael, Nael, at grassfedmusic.com. If you know me, DM me and I'll respond to you right away. You can also reach out to any of our incredible managers, Natalie, who runs our A&R, Alyce Hayek, who's the president of the company. You can reach out via our website, which is www.grassfedmusic.com. You can reach out to us via Twitter, any means. I mean, if you send me an email today, I'll respond to you today. If you DM me today, I'll respond to you
You are
today.
very responsive, I will
Yes,
say
I'm
that.
super on it
Okay,
24/7.
you know what I found, just like off note, like really quick? The CEOs respond so much faster to emails than people who are maybe starting out in their career. Is that something that what is it? Like, how do you stay organized?
I don't have an assistant.
Okay.
I barely do anything on my calendars. I do what I think is necessary that day. So when you are an executive or you're running a company, as long as I've been, you start to learn that there's certain things you don't have to do that day.
Mm,
So it's very easy for, and I would actually attest to what you're saying, that almost every head of every label, if I were to reach out to them, or even one of my interns, they would respond.
yeah.
And I think it's because not only do they have a team that handles a lot of the day-to-day things for them, they're able to say, I don't need to answer these 300 emails today. I don't need to get back to them. For example, I didn't look at my emails for the last 3 days, not once. I decided last night at midnight to go through all my emails. And there
Mm,
was nothing in there that was of panic. And if it
right.
was, they would call me. So when you're running a big company, you have to have the ability to tap in and always be available, because it's the new people that are going to change the industry. The people that you already know are so easy to communicate with. It's
Right.
unfortunate when a young A&R doesn't respond, or they're kind of gatekeeping, but I do also give them respect and understand, because a young A&R at a new label or a publishing company, you call them a creative, they could be handling 50 people and their teams. That could be 300 people getting emails all day long. It's pretty hard to help each person that reaches
Mm,
out to you. Believe it or not, that CEO is not as getting as many emails as you think from new people, because they're scared. They don't know what to
right.
say to him. They don't want to reach out. So I always tell artists, if you're going to reach out to a major person or a big label, simplify their life. Send them a one-line message. Make it so they don't even have to open the email to know what you're saying to them. And if you're reaching out to someone who's an executive, a young executive, don't give up after one email. Push them. I promise you that A&R is only looking for people who push them. That manager's only looking for people who don't stop giving up. Now, it's one thing of harassing, and there's a one thing of motivating.
Right.
So I'm super motivated by someone who's on it, who pushes me. Now, if I don't think you're talented, I'll still open the door. I'll still try to help you, but the talent is what comes first. So I try to be responsive at all times because it's fun and I enjoy it. And I do it by making very, decisive decisions about my day. I don't need to be on my email all day long. I don't need to spend my day on calls all day long. I don't need to do Zooms all day long. I need to help people. I need to make an impact. I need to make the important calls. I need to tell stories. If I don't have the time to tell stories, I can't help an artist move forward. It's what I said, even I was in an amazing meeting with our client, Sabrina Claudio, yesterday. I spent most of my time just trying to share how her music related to my life and telling a
Mm,
story to make people feel connected. We all need that story. So big executives have had the time to be able to know when to put their time into something, to learn that today I can actually ignore my emails and just focus on the people who need my help. And I think also big executives, and I'm not a big executive in comparison to to most who run labels and manage companies, that they just value new interactions and they just
yeah.
value new people, and they don't want to be the guy that said no. So a simple response doesn't hurt them. Maybe after that one response they don't respond as much anymore because they realize it's not as exciting or it's not really worth their time. But valuing someone's time is important, whether you're the person reaching out or the person responding. And I would tell artists and producers and songwriters and managers and creatives, don't get discouraged by someone not responding. Don't put your head towards someone and be like, oh, I messaged you and you don't get back to me. Go back to the music. Go back
Mm,
to the drawing board. Make them realize that you have value. Because we're in a day and age where you could just go online and post a cover and people fall in love with you. I've
right.
put out one video on Instagram of me talking about some of the things I think are important, and I've closed so many clients from that one video. I've never run ads on it, I've never invested in it, but people resonate with it.
Yeah.
So it has to be about that. So artists, don't get discouraged. Just keep going. If that person's not responding, then just accept it's because of the music, accept it's because of the art, and go back to the drawing board. And don't be shy to follow up. Follow up is the key in this business. Follow up to get no's. When I used to be in sales and I was very successful in sales, one of my biggest strategies was, I want you to say no to me. I need no's. I would make 150 new calls a day, and I would be like, just say no. I want them to say no. I never wasted their time. And when they said no, I'm like, thank you so much. I will not waste your time again. And I got good at hearing the no's. The no's didn't affect me at all. I loved it. I was like, all right, boom, check him off
Yeah.
the mark. And then I would get to the yes. And I was one of the biggest salesmen in the company with no degree. I didn't even go to university, for people who are wondering. I only graduated high school. So for people who think university is the step towards music career, it is not. It's not a bad step, but it's not the only step. It's
Yeah.
just about making sure you're putting the best creative step forward, that you're championing people, that you have leadership skills where you can really help people, that you care about their well-being, and that you can support them. And some of the best managers are extremely stable financially, emotionally. They never look at their client as a bank account. They never need them to do anything for them. They just want to help them. And this is how a manager like myself, or some of the biggest managers, can remain responsive, because we value the client. We don't value what they give to us. We value what they can provide for the world.
This has been such a valuable conversation. I'm so thankful that you made the time to come speak with me today. I don't want to take any more of your time,
I'm
but
here.
thank you so much.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll have to do this again.
absolutely. No, thank you so much. And shout out to all the creatives out there. Shout out to AB, Sabrina, Wilson, Kave, Alyce, Natalie, everyone at Grassfed, all of our producers, my brother, Adam Messenger, all the new people that we're developing. So excited, so grateful for this opportunity. Glad that there's more voices happening around music. Of course, love the fact that this is Palestinian voices as well, speaking and
Absolutely.
supporting. But at the end of the day, whether you're Arab or Asian, or doesn't matter, it's about great ideas. And so as
Absolutely.
long as we're pushing great ideas together, I think we can bring the world closer and closer. And thank you so much for having me
Thank
on. And
you.
hopefully there's more to come from this. And hopefully we can help some people realize their greatness.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Well Rooted. If you enjoyed today's episode and felt it brought you value, please subscribe, leave a comment, give us a like, and a review. This episode of Well Rooted has been brought to you by Girard & Associates CPAs. With locations across all of Los Angeles, Girard & Associates has been helping entrepreneurs and creatives make their dreams come true for over 2 decades. Go to girardcpa.com to learn more. This is Haneen, and we are all well rooted.